Hi everyone, I'm here to do a video on my entire bag collection. I don't have very many bags, I think 14 in total, and I'm showing you all of them, whether you consider them designer or not. And I decided to do this video now because, as I said in my wish list video, I'm seriously considering a Birkin, and if I get that bag, I will have to get rid of at least one or two of the bags currently in my collections. So this is a really good keepsake of what my collection is like at this point in time. The only bags that I'm not including in this video are, I have a recycle bag from the grocery store. I'm not including toiletry pouches, which I know some people include in their collection videos because they really do use them as bags, but I use them as catch-alls inside my bags or as toiletry pouches, so I never use them as mini bags or clutches. And I'm going to try to go in order and just give you a little history and story behind my bags. My first bag is in this dust bag. I got this bag maybe 15, 16 years ago after I graduated from college. I'm pretty sure this was a gift from an ex-boyfriend who was very much into luxury and designer stuff, and at that time I could really care less about these things, but he gave me a couple of bags that I no longer have. A little Gucci bag that I forgot in a hotel room. He also gave me a nylon Prada bag that I spilled stuff all over and stained, and I sold that on eBay for like $100. And he also gave me this bag that I still have, and I contemplated getting rid of because I don't use it very often, but I decided to keep it. So here it is. It's a Prada black nylon backpack, and again, it's about 15 years old. I use it more now than I ever have before because it's a great bag to use with kids. I used it last summer at Disney World. I've used it on the back of a stroller. So I used it, I think, a lot when I first got it 15 years ago, and it's funny because I didn't use it for 12 years and now I'm using it again. I contemplated getting a Louis Vuitton backpack and selling this one, but to be honest, I don't use backpacks that often, and I know they're super trendy right now, but even if I spent $2,000 on a new backpack, I would still probably only use it as much as I'm using this one, which isn't very often. And this is, I think, in really great condition after all these years. It's still sort of dirty from Disney World, but it's easily clean. It's very child-friendly, and to be honest, I don't need anything more than this in a backpack. So I'm really glad I saved my $2,000, which is $2,000 that can be put towards that Birkin if I decide to get it. And I'll just stick to this. I think nowadays this bag retails around the $1,000, $1,100 mark. I know the mini ones I've seen at Neiman Marcus for a little under $1,000, like $950. So I'm pretty sure one this size would be around $1,000. And I should mention, I think that Prada bag cost around $300 back in the day. So let's cut to about 5 years after I received that Prada bag. I still really did not have much of an interest in luxury or designer stuff, but I started seeing these Speedies around a lot. That was the Speedy, I think, heyday, 2006, 2007. And I was going on a trip to Paris, and I decided to get one of these. And For me, it was a lot of money at the time. I paid 300 and something US dollars after the VAT refund. And I decided, listen, I'm in Paris for the summer. I've been seeing these bags. I really like these bags. I had no idea about Louis Vuitton quality, but I decided to take the plunge and buy this bag. This is the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 in the Damier Ebene, and I wore this bag every single weekend for 4 years. I wore this bag consistently. It is 10 years old this year, and I don't really wear this bag anymore. I purchased a Eva strap for it at Louis Vuitton, thinking maybe if I could wear it as a crossbody, it would work for me again. But it's really awkward with that strap. It doesn't really work like a Speedy bandolier. So I'm just holding on to it in the off chance that my daughter is into bags and she wants it, and I could always sell it in 8 years, 10 years if she has no interest. Hopefully people are still into these bags. But I loved this bag for many, many years, and I still love it. I just stopped using it because I wasn't into handheld bags anymore, but that's changing, so maybe I will be able to break this out. If I could break out the Prada after 12 years of not using, maybe the Speedy will make a comeback. If not, I'm happy to save it for my daughter. My next bag is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the size in Damier Ebene print as well. So this I got about 4 years after I bought my Speedy. Again, I was in Europe and I'd been seeing this bag beforehand. I needed a tote for work, and so I gave it a try, and I think this is the bag that really got me into luxury designer bags. I use this bag every day for work from 2011 when I got it to 2014. I put my lunch in there, I had spills in there. I beat this bag to death, and I really regret how badly I treated this bag. Again, I was now into luxury, but I still didn't have the wherewithal to really take good care of my things. And as a result, this bag does show a lot of wear. I really didn't change my bag. So when I got a work bag, I used the work bag every day, every season, every year. So it really didn't get a break. So once I saw how much wear this tote was showing, I decided to invest in a less expensive bag that everyone said was super durable and indestructible. I'll show you that bag later. But the next bag in my collection was the Chanel Maxi, and this was around the time that I discovered YouTube, and really that's how I found out about the Chanel bags. I'm sure I saw Chanel bags before, never gave them a second thought, but I think the quality of Louis Vuitton really opened my eyes to this world of luxury, and I was looking for a more sophisticated, dressier bag, did some research on the internet and came across the world of Chanel and the classic flaps. Thankfully, I discovered them in 2011. I wish I had discovered it in 2010 or previously when I was in Europe, because I could have saved a bundle on my Chanel bags, but I discovered it in 2011, still many price increases ago. I think this bag retails now for over $6,000, $6,400, $6,500. I can't even keep track anymore. So close to $7,000 probably with tax. And I've never paid above $4,000 or $4,500 for a Chanel bag. So it's crazy to me what the prices are now. So I got this bag back in 2011 and I opened a Saks account, so I got 10% off. So originally I bought the Chanel Caviar Black Jumbo with silver hardware, and I decided it wasn't enough space, so I exchanged it for this bag, which is the Maxi Classic Flap in the same combination. And I contemplated selling it and replacing it with the Jumbo again, but honestly, I love the size. It is heavy, but I really love the oversized look. I like the amount of space and not having to think about what I'm carrying. Whether I have the Jumbo or I have the Maxi, all I know is I can't have both. Either which way, there will be pros and cons, and ultimately I just decided to save myself the money, keep what I have, enjoy what I have, and just have the understanding that there is just nothing's gonna be perfect, and I love this bag and I'm just gonna keep it and enjoy it. So I bought this classic maxi flap in October of 2011, and this opened the floodgates to Chanel for me. In that same year, I bought the black Chanel executive tote in deerskin with silver hardware. And this is the bag that I'm considering replacing with the Birkin. There's no justification in keeping both, since I would use both in pretty much the same way. Currently I have it stuffed, and that little charm there is a Chanel VIP gift charm. Also in 2011, I got the Chanel Classic Flap in the beige clear color, jumbo size, caviar leather. I think both because of the color and the size, I don't use it as much as my black maxi, because usually I just like to carry more and black just goes with everything. But I love this bag. I would not sell it. And at this point, I was truly hooked on Chanel. Also in 2011, just before the price increase that happened at the end of January or early February 2012, I scrambled to get this bag. It is also a Chanel Classic Flap in black lambskin with gold hardware in the medium to large size. I hunted this bag down like there was no tomorrow. I found it incredibly hard to find this combination right before the price increase. I seem to only be able to find caviar, and I really wanted one piece of Chanel lambskin. I know it's more delicate, but I think the lambskin has held up incredibly well. If you can find a scratch on the outside, let me know, but I think it looks really good. And I should also say, with all of these bags that I got, because I got them from Saks, I used rewards points, and at this point, because I had bought so many bags from Chanel in 2011, I had a $1,200 reward certificate that I used on this bag. So back in 2011, this bag was $3,900, and I used the $1,200 reward certificate, so I paid $2,700 for this bag, and I think now it's over $5,000. I think it's like $5,400 or $5,500, something crazy. So once I bought this bag, I really said, you know, this is ridiculous. This is enough. You have 3 classic flaps, you have a tote, that's it. There was this price increase in 2011. I really did not think that I would buy any more Chanel bags, but if you're a Chanel person like me, you know what happens. So you swear them off, but then they lure you back in. So then in 2013, I was pregnant and I wanted to give myself a special gift. You can say it was a push present, even though it was from me to me. And I could not think of anything more special than a Chanel bag. Then on top of that, there were rumors that this bag was going to be discontinued. And so I took the plunge. I had accumulated a bunch of reward certificates again. Because I had not made any major purchases between 2011 and when I bought this bag in 2013, I had some reward certificates to be used. So I used them on this bag, and this is the Chanel Grand Shopper Tote GST in black caviar with gold hardware. And that's just a little Lottery charm attached. I don't think the camera is doing it justice, but it is a gorgeous bag, and I actually think that the caviar leather on this GST is arguably nicer than on my classic flaps. It's definitely not as structured or as stiff, but I think it's shinier and more beautiful than on my classic flaps. That being said, if I am seriously going to consider the Birkin in order to afford that bag, this may be on the chopping block, but we'll see. This will be very hard for me to part with, but I may have to give it up if I seriously want that bag. And this was actually one that grew on me. I was one of those people that wasn't a huge fan of the big C's in the front, but it definitely grew on me over time, and now I love it. And for Chanel, this was a really great price point for a large leather tote, and I think that's probably one of the reasons they got rid of it. It was $2,900, and again, I forgot how many reward certificates I used on it, but probably at least a couple hundred, a few hundred. So then after I bought this, I really said, look, I just really can't do this. These bag prices are crazy. Nobody needs 5 Chanel bags. That is definitely it. And for a while, I definitely held firm to that. I did not buy any more Chanel bags in 2013. Instead, after I had my baby, I decided I needed a crossbody bag, and I got this Bloomsbury PM in the Damier Ebene. I think it only comes in the Damier Ebene. However, at that time I was living in New Jersey and I drove everywhere, and I didn't really need a crossbody bag as much as I thought I would. And so I didn't get a ton of use out of it. This is definitely one of those bags that I contemplated selling, and I'm so happy I didn't, because after I moved back to New York City and I walk everywhere now, I don't drive anymore, I use this bag all the time, especially right now in December, January, February months when the weather is abysmal. I really love having a Louis Vuitton crossbody that does not have vachetta. In 2014, I'd returned to work. I needed a tote, and I still had, of course, that Louis Vuitton Neverfull that you just saw. It became apparent that I was wearing that bag into the ground, and I really needed another tote that I can alternate that bag with. And so I got the Longchamp Les Pliages. I'm not sure the color. It's in a gray with the classic brown handles. And everyone said this bag was indestructible, and I'm sorry to report that I am able to destroy this bag. But I've managed to put holes in all of the corners. I still love this bag, and I will use it until there are no more corners to put holes in, but it is definitely not a Louis Vuitton Neverfull. The quality is not up to par, but nor is the price. So I guess I got what I paid for. I still love the bag. You probably wouldn't even consider this designer. You may consider this contemporary, but it's part of my overall collection. So I had a little bit of a Chanel setback in 2014. Remember, I swore off buying any more Chanel bags in 2013 after my push present. But then in 2014, there were the rumors again that Chanel was going to have a price increase. There are always these rumors. It seems like since 2012, though, they are only doing price increases every 2 years or so in the States. However, in 2014, this rumor was true, and Chanel had come out with my perfect mini. It was the black caviar mini with silver hardware. As you know from my maxi bag, this is my favorite combo that I use all the time, and I really wanted a little bag. This bag was $2,400 at the time, and it was going up to, I think, what the current price is, or no, I think there was a step in between that. I think it went up to $2,900, and then I think now it's $3,100. But back then it was $2,400, and I had, I think, a $500 Saks Rewards card. I actually paid about $1,900 for this bag, which is unheard of. So I bought it at Saks, and I do not regret it at all. This is probably one of my most used Chanel bags, one of my most used bags, period, and I love it to bits. But at this point, I really had to say enough is enough with Chanel. It's 2014. Now I have kids. My priorities have changed, and I really can't buy a new Chanel bag every year. It's just not in the cards for me. And so I'm happy with my collection, and I wasn't into selling bags. I'm still not into selling bags. So if I do get that Birkin, we'll see how this selling process goes. But I've really held firm to that because this is my last Chanel bag. I have not bought a Chanel bag since I bought this in 2014. It's almost 4 years since I bought a Chanel bag. Many, many beautiful bags have come and gone since then. The Chanel Boy is definitely one of those bags that I thought, you know, I have to have it in order to complete my collection. But I'm really glad that I held firm to that, because I'm not saying that the Chanel Boy was a trend. I think a few years ago was definitely its high point, and I saw it everywhere, and I really, really wanted it. But I held firm to enough is enough, and funny enough, now I don't really have the desire to have a boy bag anymore. So this is my last Chanel bag, and I really don't foresee getting any more. And unlike 2014 when I bought this bag and I wanted everything Chanel, now I don't really have that desire anymore. So let's talk about the bags that I did get since 2014. In 2015, for my birthday, I got the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis, and this is probably my most used non-work / tote bag. I use this bag so much at the park, at the grocery store, to ballet class. It goes everywhere with me. It really took a lot of pressure off the Chanel Mini, because I would take that bag to the park and stuff all of the time, and I really did not want that bag to get ruined. So I'm really glad I got this one, and this is a much more appropriate bag for those sorts of occasions anyway. But even this, I felt like I was using a little too much, and I learned a lesson with my Louis Vuitton Neverfull and that Longchamp Les Pliages bag, that these bags are very strong, but they're not indestructible. And although I don't want to have a million bags, I do need a few bags that serve casual purposes in order to not destroy any of the bags that I really, really love. So I'm really glad I bought this bag. I recommend it completely. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see that I use it a lot. So after my experience putting holes in the Longchamp Les Pliages, after a few months of use, I decided that if I were going to get another tote bag, it would have to be a Louis Vuitton Neverfull, or a bag that I could be pretty sure was of comparable quality. I wanted a lighter color bag for summer, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you will see my idea of lighter colored is not perhaps other people's idea of summer colors. So this is my summer work bag. It is, again, the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, this time in the classic monogram, and inside is the red or cherry color. I think I'm doing a much better job of taking care of this bag. You'll see that the handles are really patinaed and dark in some areas, but that's part of just having vachetta for me. I now know that I'm not going to use these bags 12 months out of the year, so I use this bag in the late spring and all summer, and I try to put it away by October. I got this bag in 2016 and I love it. I did a haul on my channel. I got it from Selfridges, so I was able to save quite a bit of money over the US price, and it is made in France. So you may at this point notice that since my buying craze in 2011, where I bought all those Chanel bags, I've really been on a one bag per year kick, and this was my bag for this year. It is the Hermès Evelyn bag in the color Eton with contrasting rouge cassac strap. And this was the bag that I knew I would get use out of because I use my other smaller crossbody bags so often. And I really wanted to get a feel for Hermès with a smaller bag. And I love this bag, so I wear it the way that I would have used the Chanel Mini, and I use the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis for, but if I need something even smaller, especially in the summer, I like the gray and the red for the summer, I bring out this bag. It's truly a mini bag, so when I just want my phone, my wallet, sunglasses, this is a great bag for that. And this is where my collection ends, and I think is a really good segue for where I'm taking my collection next, because this bag really opened my eyes to Hermès quality, their leathers. I think this was the bag that really made me consider the Birkin. I was never into that bag before. I really honestly didn't get it, but seeing the quality of this leather and the craftsmanship, and now being open to handheld bags again after not having used the handheld bag for years, I think I'm really considering the Birkin. So as I said, that will be a complete reevaluation of my collection, and some bags will have to go and some accessories will have to go in order to make that happen, but it may be worth it if I love that bag as much as I think I will. And the thing about a Birkin, even if you make a mistake and you buy it and you decide it's not for you, it's pretty easy to get rid of and you won't lose your money, unlike other brands. The hard part for me in buying the Birkin is that I know that I will have to get rid of one and probably two bags in order to afford it, and that's harder for me than buying the Birkin, is getting rid of things, because I do not want to regret selling any bag. So I'm gonna have to think long and hard about it. So stay tuned and see where that leads me. But I hope you enjoyed my collection video. I know I didn't go into great details about any of them, so if you have any questions, feel free to write them down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.